All right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman. As always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 328, and this is a show where we share our feeling about the current state of PlayStation. Before we get on the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to rate the podcast, leave comments as you see fit. And as a reminder, we're a video podcast as well, so you can watch our show if you prefer over on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that. Share it with all your gamer friends. Just spam the shit out of people. All right, for new and long-time listeners, we have a Patreon. You can support the show for $1 a month. The Patreon tier is called the one and only $1 Club. Go to patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome, and you can support our show for $1 and get a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail, and we'll give you a shout-out. And then we also will read your comments first if you leave any on the Patreon website. So with that out of the way, Jake, how are you today?
I mean, beautiful day. I mean, you really can't ask for better weather. So that was nice, being able to spend the day outside. And I mean, I basically just did work the whole day. I've been working on opening the pool up, and then we did a bunch of mowing and weed whacking and things like that. And I don't know. Did some other shit I probably am forgetting about. Played with the dogs, some other stuff. But other than that, I'm doing okay. I got this stomach thing, because we talked about it on last Tuesday night. And it's like hanging on. Like, I feel fine, but my stomach just constantly feels like it's full. Like, I don't really understand it. And it's not like a bloated feeling. It's almost like I ate too much and I'm going to throw up kind of feeling, but without like the bloatiness of it.
Are you shitting?
And so, I mean, yeah, sometimes violently. So I'm wondering, I was originally thinking, and it still might be some kind of food poisoning or something like that, because it happened like suddenly. It wasn't like a thing that built up over a couple days. It's like it was over the course of a couple hours. Suddenly this was a problem. And so every time I think it's getting better, then I'll like eat something that I don't think is that crazy, and I'll just feel terrible as soon as I finish eating it.
Wow.
And so I don't know. I may have to get it checked out, but it doesn't really prevent me from doing anything. Like, we played the show last night and everything, and I just basically just don't eat, and which is not really the greatest thing. But other than that, we played a show last night, which was cool. Actually, it was a lot of fun, even though I played like shit because we really haven't played hardly at all in the last 6 months. But it was a lot of fun, a lot more fun than I expected it to be completely honest with you. And I guess the
Talk
one
about setting expectations.
It's just like one of those things where it's like the weather was kind of questionable.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
It was like we didn't know. I didn't really know what to expect, because it was like a music festival thing, but it was at the grill, and it was like we did like a straight 2 hours as opposed to like our normal kind of set structure. And then, like I said, we haven't played in a while, and we plugged in a couple new songs. And so like I expected it to be just a slog.
Yeah.
And while some of it was clearly a struggle, it was fun, because I think having a sound guy that makes you sound good on stage, dude, it makes you feel so much better when you're playing.
Yeah.
Like if we had played like that, and I'm not saying everybody played bad. I'm just saying I feel like I played bad. If I had played like that and I also couldn't hear myself, or it sounded bad, like, I would have been fucking cranky when the show was over. But no, Jason does a great job. We've talked about him on the show before. And then the one final thing that I'll talk about is last weekend, because we didn't get to do the podcast this past week. Sarah and I watched, this is kind of like out of left field maybe, but Sarah and I watched on Disney Plus, they have like a recorded version of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know, this was like this big thing. Like everyone was fucking talking about it. There was all these memes about like what you can buy for the price of an Eras Tour ticket and yada yada yada.
It's fucking ridiculous.
So Sarah was not home. I think she was like hanging out with your brother or something. And so I was just like, I was watching a hockey game and it just finished up. She wasn't home yet, and I didn't really feel like playing a game. So I just like, well, fuck it. I'll just throw it on, see what this is all about. And Sarah got home while I was watching it, and we ended up watching the whole thing over a couple days. Dude, that concert's 3.5 hours long. And it is, I'm not even fucking around. This concert has to have the most insane production value of any concert I have ever seen, either virtually or in person, in my entire life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many millions of dollars every one of these shows cost to put on. And now, to be fair, I was like reading, because not all the numbers are out there, but I was reading like just on the like film release of the concert. Just the film release, God. Taylor Swift made like $200 million, not including what she made during the tour itself.
Ticket sales, merch sales, fucking streaming sales, fucking.
But
Jesus,
I don't really want to.
She probably made like almost $1 billion on this tour,
dude. I was telling Sarah this. I was like, I would not be surprised if next year she ends up on Forbes like top 100 most.
It's gonna happen
people.
For sure.
Because of all of this and like everything else that's going on and everything that with
she's
her.
So influential.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. But the just the way that the concert, like, it looked like it was fake. Like, that's how good it looked. Yeah. Like, everything was so well choreographed, and there was all this crazy shit, and the stage was wild.
Yeah,
and it had like the whole stage was like a big video screen, and like it was bananas. It like makes you realize that like when you like, it's like one of those moments, like regardless of what you think about Taylor Swift, it's one of those moments where like you think that you've seen the peak of something, and then you realize like, oh, there's another level. It's just that almost zero people can hit it. And or someone just hasn't taken that next step yet. So I don't know. I just thought that was really, really just kind of a crazy thing to watch. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. If I'm being completely because we might even get the question. They might be like, well, you guys make music. What do you actually think of Taylor Swift's music? Here's the bottom line. She writes really fucking good songs. Like, I would say, like, she's got definitely, like, her, it's in her, number one, they're catchy, and number two, like, her lyrics aren't so fucking obvious, and they're like, a little deep. But they're all, like, it seems like they're all fucking breakup songs.
Yeah, some of them are a little bit kind of just like I listened to a little bit of the newest album that she just put out, and it just seemed like more of the same to me. Yeah. So like I don't know, like I feel like
she had like 30 fucking songs on the new record.
I know.
She just
like,
pumps them out.
It was like a quadruple album or something.
Dude,
like,
we should cover a Taylor Swift song.
Dude, it'd be awesome. I bet we could find one that like
we could make really cool.
She has a lot of, more sort of folky songs.
Dude, if we covered a Taylor Swift song, I think we would hit a different level. We would hit the next level for the flood. We need Taylor to lift us into it.
people would dig it, I think.
We should record it and then fucking put that shit out.
Yeah.
We could buy commercial
it would be
licensing
cool
to do it. That'd be so smart.
It would be pretty wild. I mean, you could just even put it on YouTube, and then you don't have to.
What if
you just
we
have to
kill
credit
it?
them. If we kill it, yeah,
Then-
we could.
then we'll
it could
blow
be the
up.
best Taylor Swift cover ever made. And then what do you do?
Well,
You want to make money on that?
quit your fucking job.
We could be playing stadiums just to play that song.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I do agree though. Like we've talked about.
Anyways, for the listeners, yeah, we both agree that she's
But yeah.
she's a good songwriter.
Yeah. So anyway, if anybody is interested, like I honestly think if you're just interested in like live music and what like the pinnacle of a stage performance can be, and you have Google and Disney Plus, just like throw it on for 10 minutes and just watch it. Like it will blow your mind. And I mean, maybe it won't, but it blew my mind as someone who is a pretty big fan of music, I would say. So, yeah. Anywho, continuing on.
What is that noise? Was that in your house?
Yeah, Sarah opened a door that was squeaking.
I was like, man, no one's home right now. It freaked me out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jake, let me preface my little intro here. We're just saying sorry to everybody for not having an episode last week. This is episode 328. We skipped last week. Dude, it's so much harder to get the shit done in the summertime. Like, I'm golfing on Mondays. I posted a little clip on YouTube. So if you don't follow us on YouTube and you're wondering where the hell the podcast was, your fault, because I posted it. I posted a little synopsis that we weren't going to be doing it that past week. So, and I said we'll be doing one this week though. But that being said, I already told you about it, but I want to share with the listeners that I hit a 96-yard chip at Golf League, and I won some money, which is good. It was amazing. We were playing with this team, and the dude on the other team had like this kind of louder, I don't want to say high register voice, but I hit the shot, and I had to go over this fucking whatever, prickly tree, coniferous, whatever. What are those trees called? It was like a pine, but it was like in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, conifer, like in the middle of nowhere. It was par 4, boom, launched up perfectly over it, down on the green. And I could see it rolling, and I just saw it disappear. And the guy was like, "That went in!" He's like yelling on the golf course. He's like so fucking funny. He goes, "Did you see it? It went in!" And he's like yelling, and I'm like, holy shit, that guy's so excited right now. You know, that was his voice. And he goes, "I've never seen anybody do anything like that." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "It went in! It went in!" And like, they're supposed to be our competition. This guy was just so fucking stoked that he saw me hit this thing. Because like 96 yards doesn't sound like a long way, but it wasn't like an easy shot either. Like it was like really, really a fucking a coin toss whether or not it was even going to be on the green, and then let alone roll right in. So that was exciting. I was cleaning out. I'm in the process of cleaning out my basement, and I'm finding old like PS3 disc games, and I'm just like, dude, I've got no fucking use for these things. I'm never going to use a PS3 disc ever again. I'm half tempted to do giveaways on the podcast for PS3 titles that I just don't want anymore. I'm thinking about it. I mean, I don't know how we would even do it. I mean, I don't even know how it would work. You know, maybe the next patron gets fucking Kane and Lynch on PS3 or something. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. We need more people, but it was something I had kind of thought about. But I know that there was more. I wondered. Oh, the other thing I was talking about, I got 2 bottles of the Blackberry Crown Royal, and this is my first try at it. It's definitely whiskey. It's not as like, definitely has a blackberry smell, but it's not as like sweet as like a lot of people are making out to be. Like they're like, oh man, that shit's dangerous. I mean, it is good, but they say to mix it with lemonade, and I just kind of wanted to celebrate some of my progress down here, cleaning out my basement. But it's good. It's not worth the craze that it caused, but I did get 2 bottles of it, and I'm glad I have them. What else? Go ahead. Have you tried it?
No, I mean that's not really something that I would buy, but just because I don't really, I have yet to meet a flavored whiskey that I actively enjoy. And it's not because they're bad. It's just because, like, to me, it ruins the flavor of the whiskey. But
it is really good, though. I just took another sip. It is good.
Also, to be clear, blackberry is not really my flavor either. So if it was something a little bit more, I don't know, like what would be good? Maybe like a, I don't even know. Like what would
blackberry, dude? Because it's got that kind of bitter taste to it already.
Yeah, but whiskey's not bitter.
You don't want like
sweet.
peach or anything.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm trying to think about it. Like maybe like a. I think whiskey would pair better with something. This sounds crazy, but something like bacon or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Something a little more savory.
Mahogany and fucking cigars.
Because it's already the whiskey itself. I mean, depending on how it's made, generally it's already a little bit sweet. So mix it with something a little savory. I don't know. We don't have to go on a tangent about it. But Crown generally makes half decent stuff. So
yeah, it's pretty tasty.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something that I'd be willing to try. It's just not something I'd be willing to buy a whole bottle of.
Yeah. Well, I bought fucking 2. These things were going so fast. When I got to the liquor store, they're like, I walked in, they're like, "Are you here for the Crown Royal?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to try it." And he goes, "Well, you better go grab it now. We're limiting every customer to two per visit." And he said, "We unloaded 9 cases, and we're down to our last case right now." And this was 11 a.m. in the morning, in one day. And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "It's going very fast." And I'm like, "All right." And then the guy behind me picked up 2 bottles, and the guy behind him picked up. I was like, "Wow, I came at the right time." I was like, "This is crazy." So I don't know. It's like limited edition is the thing. So I'm sure people are just buying it to resell it later. But I don't even know how that works.
I would love to just. First of all, like you can't do that in Pennsylvania, but.
I better take it off eBay then. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But I wonder. To be fair, I think if it's like a certain age where it can be considered like an antique or something like that, you might be able to like transfer it or something. But
you'd have to do like consumer to consumer. You couldn't do it in the mail. Like you'd have to like rig up like a website. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. But I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like, is it really that good? Like that it's worth all of this hubbub. You know what I mean? Or is it just because it's limited and people want to have fucking FOMO and they don't want to, you know? I mean, it's probably an amazing marketing campaign by Crown to get this thing where it's at so that they sell every single drop of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, and
interesting. I mean, maybe it is the best fucking whiskey you can buy for whatever.
$39.
$25.
I think it was like 38 or 37 or something.
$38. Wow.
Something like that.
So that's a lot of money for.
It was like this limited thing, dude. Like people were squawking about it, and like I'm sure they're gonna do another limited release. So I think it was like maybe it was 35, 34. I don't know what it was. It was in the 30s for sure. It wasn't 20 anything. So do they tax liquor? I don't know.
Well, I mean, yes, but
well, then there you go.
It's
Let me look it up. Crown Royal Blackberry Whiskey. Holy shit! All right, so it's $35 on Fruit Bat. Everywhere else, it's like, well, here's
what you need to do is
here's a bottle for 80 on sale for 60. For 3 of them, it's $180 on Nestor Liquor. So yeah, I mean, there's one for $23.
It's $33 on the PA liquor store site.
Well, there you go.
So, $33.
That's like middle of the
yeah.
shelf, right? That's like not bottom shelf.
No, but it's like it's only 35 proof or 35% alcohol, which is low for like you couldn't even consider it a bourbon or anything because it's too low of a proof. Which most flavored
It tastes kind of
liquors
smoky
are.
too. It's weird.
It might. I mean, that might be part of the design of the whiskey portion of it.
It's nice
because it's like a blended whiskey. That they just put
the podcast.
Crown Royal is
the podcast listeners are like, Jesus, you don't give us an episode last week, and now all you're fucking doing is talking about this whiskey that Fred brought up.
So yeah, I mean, Crown Royal is a Canadian whiskey, if you didn't know.
Yeah,
and so it's a Canadian style whiskey with just like blackberry flavoring. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. We can move on, but
I had one more
I just
thing.
find it. Go ahead.
No, not about this. Just I was gonna move it to the next quick little discussion here before we get into the game shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a member of a musicians guild, ASCAP, and they give royalties for performances. You only get royalties for performances of songs that you have registered under yourself as a writer. Right? So they made it incredibly, they would argue probably easy, but what a lot of people don't know, here's a little inside business, inside baseball. Let's say you go see fucking Guns N' Roses, right? They are members of a musicians guild. Every person in that band has writing credits for probably some of the songs, right? Unless they wrote the songs completely themselves. If they're awarded a writing credit, anytime someone like myself or anybody else says, hey, I played Sweet Child of Mine at my show and we're all part of the guild, Guns N' Roses gets a little kickback because I played their song live. You got to log it, though, with the guild, which is a whole nother fucking step. So you got to keep your set lists. And like the way they do it is that they have a section for creating set lists. And then they have a section for, God, I don't even know what it's called now. Performances or something. It's called On Stage or something. So you got to get on stage. You got to tell them where you played, the time you played, the amount of minutes that you played. And then you have to select from a specific set list you've already preloaded in the set list section and say, this is the set list I performed at this event. And then you also have a drop down to list any kind of cover songs you did and who the artists are. So this is a lot of things that people don't know that you can do. When you do this, the writers of the songs, if you do cover songs, get kickback. And so you hear about ASCAP, BMI putting the squeeze on a lot of local venues to pay the Musicians Guild fee, right? So that they can perform cover songs at these places. And they nickel and dime these small places. And that's why Voodoo Brewery makes you sign a disclaimer saying you won't play any cover songs because they're not part of the guild because they're too cheap to fucking pay the price. But places like the Lake Resort pay it. And places like, wherever pay it. And you can go play cover songs willy-nilly and they don't get shook down by these guilds. So the thing is, what a lot of people don't know is I have all my music registered with ASCAP. So technically, when I go play fucking Voodoo, I'm actually probably not even allowed to play Voodoo. Because when I'm playing my songs, it's protected by the Musicians Guild, even though it's me playing them. So, like, I play there anyways, but I can't log my performances at Voodoo because Voodoo's going to get a fucking nasty gram saying, hey, someone played Fred Oakman's songs at your venue. You got to pay the fucking fee, right? So it turns into this thing. So here's the thing. Guns N' Roses, Metallica, all your favorite bands, they report their set lists for every show on their tours. And they get performance royalties based on the capacity size of the venue they play, juxtaposed to the fee that place paid and all of the other submissions that were submitted at that venue for each quarter. There's a weird math algorithm that happens. And musicians get paid jack squat, but I would imagine, like, for places like, Lake Resort or wherever we play, at the end of the year, for my writing royalties, for people performing my songs, which is only ever me, I get which isn't bad, but it's a lot of fucking work to get on there and log all these songs and all these set lists. It's a fucking pain in the ass because it's a hard system to navigate and it's slow. So loading like fucking 40 songs. I'm going to we're probably this year, we're just going to do the same fucking set every fucking show. So I don't have to keep doing this. But anyways, because you can load a set list in and be like 2024 tour set list. And then every fucking venue you play, just say, this is the one we did. This is the one we did. This is the one we did. And then I don't even know how they verify this shit. Like, they don't know what my songs sound like, but I'm sure they have agents.
I would just say that we played the same set every time. We play the same songs. They just are in different orders.
They don't care about the order. That's the other thing. They do care about the cover songs that you play, though, because they want to give a... Anyways, long story short, every year I get royalty deposits, and I get fucking $10.99, whatever, from ASCAP, and it's never a lot. I mean, maybe to the listener it seems like a lot, but for the amount of fucking work that I do to do it, like, usually... So, it gets even more confusing. So, in order to be listed as a songwriter, you also have to have a publisher on file for the songs. So when we got signed to Signal Home, we created a publisher account called Signal Home Music. So if you ever see on any of the One Up My Land releases, it says published by Signal Home Music, it's because we're registered as a publisher, and you have to split. The publisher is entitled to 50% of all royalties of everything that they publish. So, like, when I get my royalty checks at the end of the year, I get one made out to Fred Oakman for like $100, and then I get one made out to Fred Oakman, CEO Signal Home or whatever music for like $100. And it's like, it's annoying because when I go to do my fucking taxes, I have to claim them separately. And goddamn, dude, it is so, they make it so hard for the little guy. But like, I'm not.
ASCAP is a fucking racket.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Dude, I don't get it.
I don't understand how these...
I'm a lifetime member, by the way.
Like, sure. I mean, I think that it's like one of those things where, in theory, like, the theory of what they're doing is nice. But what it turns into is some fucking mafia shit.
Yeah.
Where they just go around and shake down businesses who can barely keep their doors open.
Who can barely pay the live musician.
Yeah.
And that's why they can't pay the live musician. If they took what they...
Like,
dude, the fees are like thousands of dollars a year.
It should literally be like, if you're...
I'm gonna look it up.
If your operating revenue is under a certain level, you shouldn't have to pay ASCAP fees at all. Like, I don't see why... And to be honest with you, like, what can they even fucking do? Like, can they actually do anything? Like, I don't see how...
they can take you to court and stuff. So here's the thing. Music licensing for restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. I'm looking at it right now. It says their lowest fee is $1 a day. So you're looking at almost $400 for a place just to have... They're saying you're allowed to have people come here and play different kinds of music. They can do cover songs, whatever, but they got to pay $400 a day. This is ASCAP's agreement. So if you show up and you try to cover somebody who's on BMI and you're not covered by BMI, you don't have a license with BMI as a venue, BMI's going to fucking shake you down. So like, it's like, dude, you have all these different fucking places. This is my understanding, at least. This is on their website. It says music licensing for restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. ASCAP members create music. You harness the power of music to entice customers to enter your business, stay longer, and purchase more food and beverages. Here are the facts you need to know about the ASCAP music license for restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. ASCAP is a membership organization of more than 975,000 songwriters, composers, and music publishers. Our members include both the hottest artists, which is true, of today and writers of your all-time favorite songs. What is cool if you're a member and I want to look up who, like, Born to Run, I can get like fucking hard to get information on like Bruce Springsteen. Like I can get like his publicist like phone number and shit. Like it's crazy. Like if you're part of the guild, like you can get this shit, but they probably won't. Anyways. So then it says, with an annual ASCAP musical license, you have unlimited access to ASCAP's expansive catalog of millions of songs, which you can play as often as you want in a wide variety of ways, whether it's off your iPad, CDs, performed by a live DJ, karaoke service, or live band. Our license fees are affordable and are based on the size of your business and how you use music. Our lowest annual fee is just over $1 a day, less than the price of a cup of coffee. Our license agreement makes complying with the law easy. U.S. copyright law requires you to obtain permission from music copyright owners to play their music in your business. Instead of reaching out to hundreds of thousands of music creators yourself, one single ASCAP license agreement gives you permission to play music from any ASCAP member. It's the right thing to do. Your license fee helps support America's smallest business owners, songwriters. 90 cents of every $1 from your fee goes back to ASCAP members as royalties, allowing them to make a living from their craft and continue creating music your customers love. So, dude, it's fucking wild. I don't know what the bars pay, but I only get $200 a year.
The problem with this whole strategy is the same fucking problem with Spotify and all this other bullshit, is that it only benefits the people that sell millions of records already. It doesn't, because they're the ones getting covered. Nobody's fucking covering Fred Oakman songs.
No. I have to log my own shit to get royalties.
Yeah, nobody's covering fucking, Sunday at the Station.
Right.
So it's like the only people that actually benefit from this are the people who, let's say, we talked about Taylor Swift earlier. Taylor Swift benefits from this because probably hundreds of thousands of artists cover her shit, or restaurants play her music in their venue all the time. And it's like, so it's kind of, I don't know, man. It's
fucked.
This type of thing makes me so frustrated because it's like one of those things where it was a good idea, and then they just ruined it with like this just mafioso shit.
Well, here's the thing. To your point, dude. Here's the thing. If we're lucky, we're getting paid $400 for 3 hours of live music to split between 5 fucking people, right? So that's practicing every weekend, loading thousands of dollars of gear, driving 45 minutes to a gig, setting everything up, being good, performing, keeping their audience, loading everything back up, maybe making some tip money, and fucking going back home. $400 to pay for 5 fucking people to do that at your bar when you're making how much in drinks. So we don't get paid a lot, right? Is the point. But dude, how many bands are actually even saying that they played Taylor Swift songs or that they covered Metallica and reporting it to them to get the royalties? Probably none. Cover bands aren't fucking reporting this shit because they're cover bands. They have no they're not going to ever make any money. The money goes to the writers. So like the only people that stand to gain from it are people who are either huge songwriters who have smaller songwriters covering their music once in a while, like we do with other bands. Because like no one even probably has the wherewithal to understand what this is. And you have to be a songwriter to have an ASCAP account. So you have to get verified. And I had to pay a lifetime membership fee. When we got signed, it was kind of what we had to do. But dude, it is so fucked. So to your point, we show up. If we're lucky, we get $400. If we're lucky. If we've somehow schmoozed somebody getting $400, we're playing original music. So we don't benefit from this unless I go home and log all this shit. Who hurts from this? The fucking venue, because they have to pay the fucking Musicians Guild. I had to pay the Musicians Guild to get an account with them. And then I have to nickel and dime them for every fucking song I play of my own to try to get any royalties back because no one else is going to play one of my songs. So it sucks. It's like they put the squash on these venues and the venue pays the little guy less now. And it's just like, dude, like what the fuck is happening? The only people that benefit from this are the big people. You're right.
There was a little restaurant in the town where I live, and they built it like a really nice outdoor stage and all this stuff, and they were gonna have live music.
Yeah.
But they got shook down by ASCAP, and they were just like, "Fuck it, we just won't do it. We just won't have live music at all."
Yeah.
And so
Great.
they did open mic nights and like all this other stuff, and like just like summertime activities
Cool
in the
shit.
area was really cool. But the thing that like you said, I mean, and I didn't even think about this, like the cover bands that are doing all of this aren't even reporting any of it.
They get nothing to
because
gain from it. They're not going to report
because
it.
they're not gonna and they probably can't even be members of ASCAP if they're not like producing
Right.
musicians.
They have no way to.
I don't know, man. We should move on.
Part of the licensing agreement is on the venue to report what songs are played there at their establishment. Now, you and I both fucking know they're not keeping tabs. So
I've never once, because you would think that like
they'd be like, "We need to see your set list for tonight."
You would be like, "Yeah," because they're not sitting there being like writing down every fucking song. Because who knows if you even say what the name is?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're supposed to turn your set list in and shit. But that's a whole nother schematic for big bands that you don't even think about. They're reporting themselves every fucking date on their tour to get royalties for playing their songs at these huge ass venues, which is awesome. Anyway, it's cool for them. It's just part of the inside business, inside baseball. All right, dude, let's get on with the fucking show. We have talked way too much. Every episode we talk about games that we are currently playing. Jake, I'm going to be absolutely transparent with you, dude. I have not touched anything in so long, PlayStation wise. Anytime I turn on my PlayStation, I'm ready for bed. I fucking put on YouTube. I'm really into Warhammer shit right now, so I'm watching tons of Warhammer shit and collecting the magazines and stuff, and like I'm just not dialed into games. Summer is upon me. I don't know. What about you? Nothing.
So I've been playing. I was playing Fallout 4, but then I actually started playing because it came out on Tuesday last week. I started playing that game Animal Well. I don't know if you've heard about it, but like we talked about it a week or two ago that it was coming out, and it was I had mentioned that it was something that I have heard of that Sony was talking about, and it's like this 2D pixel art Metroidvania game. Where you're like in this like underground sort of area, and you are trying to collect like these 4 flames. I don't really know. Like, I don't even know if there's really a story, but there's like everything is animal themed. There's animals all over the place. And you just play as this little brown like puff, and you just kind of run around and you get all these. There's no real combat in it. It's mainly just platforming and puzzles. And all of your utilities that you unlock are like basically toys, which is kind of interesting. Like one of them is a frisbee, one of them is a fucking yo-yo, one of them is a flute, one of them is a slinky. Like it's and you use these things to solve these puzzles and to deal with these animals that you find down in this well. And I don't know, man. It's really good. I think it's getting pretty good reviews, honestly, on, let's see, opencritic.com. Yeah, Animal Well has an 89 right now on OpenCritic. And I would say it's a really good game.
Yeah.
You have to be into like that sort of puzzle platformer, Metroidvania kind of style. My biggest complaint about it is the map. I personally think the map leaves a lot to be desired. I love a Metroidvania that. So, do you remember that that game I talked about a couple years ago? It was the Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Or whatever the
I'll
fuck
never
it was,
forget
some
that
crazy
name.
So the coolest thing about that game is a Metroidvania. I mean, I like the game generally, but one of the coolest things about it is that there were areas. Like the areas that you had to go back to because you didn't have the utility or whatever you needed to get through it. They were marked by a color on the map. So when you got that utility, you could just pull up the map and be like, okay, I can go here now. I can go here now. I can go here now. And you didn't have to spend all this time just fucking wandering the whole map trying to remember what you needed to get through this area. And like, So that's one of the things that I wish that more of these Metroidvanias would employ. But that aside, I am really enjoying it. I haven't. It hasn't obviously come out yet, but I'm getting ready to install Hellblade 2 because that comes out this week. But other than that, yeah, I haven't really played anything else other than Animal Well. I've just been kind of dogging that for the last few days. So.
Well, I'm glad you're kind of enjoying it, man. Damn it, dude, I'm fucking so annoyed. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing about fucking games I'm playing. I'm looking forward to Darkest Dungeon 2, and I will say this because it made the rounds. I guess, dude, and we could fucking segue on this shit. This is a quick game conversation / doesn't need to be political. I just want to bring this up. The guy who does the voiceovers for Darkest Dungeon 2, Wade June? What is his name? Voiceover guy, Darkest Dungeon. Wayne June. Apparently said some fucking shitty things. And like, I'm just gonna say, dude, he's fucking perfect for this game. Bottom line, it can't be anybody else. It's got to be his voice. It makes the fucking game great. And the writing also does, that he's reading from. But to be transparent, some people can't separate the artist from the art. And I think for me, it depends on the severity of the thing that the artist does. And I think it also, for me, depends on how, I don't know. Some people just can't do it, right? I can in certain circumstances. And I don't even know what he said. I was on Reddit and someone said he said some fucked up shit just about sexual stuff. Not being a perv,
Who knows even what the context is?
Yeah,
though?
I don't even know. I'm not even going to look it up, dude. Because quite honestly, I don't even fucking care what one person's opinion is, because there's a billion other people who have opposing opinions, and there's probably a billion people that have the same opinions, and there's a billion people who have different opinions. And so everybody has a fucking opinion. I don't like hate speech. I don't approve of that shit. I don't know what he said. I'm not going to dive in just to learn something about this guy that I don't want to fucking hear. If it made the news rounds, it made the news rounds. But someone on Reddit said he said something. So I'm going to get ahead of the fucking ball here in case something drops in the next week. Because I've been on record saying this guy's fucking voice is so fucking good. It is. It doesn't matter, man. He could have like murdered babies. His fucking voice is perfect for this game. It matters, but it doesn't fucking matter because it's in the game and it's fucking great. So anyways, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, well, I wouldn't go as far as say I'd still be interested in hearing from someone who murdered babies, but
no, I'm just saying I'm not interested in hearing him, but I'm saying he's good at what he does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of have a similar viewpoint. I think that like it's okay if you can't separate the artist from the art. Personally, I think that if you really love someone's art, you're almost better off not getting to know them on a deeper level. Because chances are there's going to be something about them that you don't like. And like for a perfect example, if someone put a gun to my head and said, this would be difficult, but if someone put a gun to my head and said, who's your favorite guitar player of all time? I would probably have to say Richie Blackmore of Deep Purple fame and Blackmore's Rainbow and all that stuff. Richie Blackmore is a notorious asshole. Like people notoriously think that he's a jerk.
I'm just I opened a fucking can of worms. Keep going. I'm sorry, but
and same thing about one of my other favorite guitar players of all time, Eric Clapton. people have a lot of opinions about him because he said some what would today be considered racist shit like 20 years ago. And he happens to be right wing, which a lot of times, you know, and I'm not saying one way or another. I think that it's unfortunate that it seems like just having a particular political stance means that you're a shitty person.
It doesn't mean you're a shitty person.
There's no room for differing opinions. But I will say that even though I don't agree with the things that these people say, I still appreciate and love their music. And I can still listen to it. And I can even go see them live and be like, you know, I might draw the line at somebody like Ted Nugent, for example. But that's not because I really care that Ted Nugent is like an extreme right guy.
Yeah.
It's because he comes out on stage like waving guns around and like screaming at people and shit. Like I just don't have time for that. But if I was just like to take a snapshot where I just see him play Stranglehold and then I get to go home and don't hear a word from his mouth, then I would still do that. So yeah, I think that this is it's interesting. Now, I don't know what was said. Maybe the guy did say some really heinous shit and maybe he should be reprimanded for it. But I also think that there's too little room for error in the industry nowadays where, you know, if a guy said something fucked up, they should have the chance to apologize and make good on it and not just be immediately foisted out of their livelihood. Especially when they're a critical component of something beloved like a game like this. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe he did talk about, you know, some really crazy shit and maybe we don't want that type of energy. But I don't know. I just urge people to like be a little bit more accepting of other people's beliefs and realize that it's like, it's okay if somebody doesn't believe something that you believe, and you
it's
can still
all
enjoy
fucking
their work.
cult mentality. I'm just gonna say that this whole fucking thing.
Whoa, just relax, man.
No, I won't relax. It's all fucking cult mentality. Everyone who believes the same thing surrounds themselves with the same fucking people that believe the same fucking thing, so you never get indoctrinated into any other fucking points of view. So you're in the fucking void. You're in the fucking void when you believe a lot of this shit. And you're brainwashed that the other side is the bad guy. Both sides. The other side. It's like religion, dude. Like, not to fucking pull up the hottest topic in the world, but like, everybody's God is the wrong God according to every religion. Like, every fucking religion will tell you that their God is the right God and everything else is not good. Every fucking one. Every fucking religion is the only right religion there is. So if you're brought up as a kid and you're told that if you believe anything else, you're going to be fucking banished to eternity, to fire and brimstone, you're going to fucking never see your family again in the afterlife, and like, you know, you're going to go to hell and all this shit if you become a fucking Mennonite, if you fucking, you know, believe in Buddha or whatever the fuck, if that's how you're raised and you're fucking 20 years old and everyone around you believes this fucking thing, it's cult fucking mentality, dude. I'm not saying that any religion is wrong. I'm just saying they're set up that way. That's how they are. None of them say, go experiment with other religions. Not one says, go check out another religion and then come back if you like what we stand for later. Like, they're all like, if you do this, you're fucked. Don't do it. Don't fucking go. Don't leave us. We need your fucking money. I'm sorry. I'm just being an asshole. But like the thing is like the political parties in this country have gotten the same way, dude. It's just like they want our money. They want our support. They want us to fucking talk about them. They want us to put their fucking sticker on our car. They fucking want us to like put the flag in our yard. It's like, dude, I subscribe to fucking nothing. I'm my own person. I'm not I have to be affiliated with a party to fucking vote in this country, but it doesn't mean I'm going to vote that way. But like, it's fucking crazy, dude. This world's fucking crazy. That's all I gotta say. Is you gotta be part of a fucking team. You can't be a fucking lone wolf in this world.
Well,
Moving on.
Talked about some stuff there.
I don't think anyone's gonna give a shit though. I mean, like, it's the same fucking. I mean, our listeners are smart enough to understand what I'm saying. You know, they might disagree a little bit about something, but at least our listeners are cool and open-minded. Anyways, I'm not bashing religion. I'm not bashing cults. I'm not bashing fucking Ted Nugent. I'm not fucking bashing Wayne June. I'm just saying I like what I fucking like. If you've got a cool voice, I like it in the video game. That's all I'm saying. Oh, shit. Listener feedback. We do have listener feedback. Every episode, we talk about listener feedback. And on our Patreon last week, Prescript_N, our boy, writes in. And I told him we would talk about this on the podcast. And he writes in and he says, hey, what's up, guys? What's up, you guys? Merch would definitely be cool. Since I drive a lot, I've actually been listening to a lot of the older PSTIA episodes on archive.org. It's amazing, number one, that you found them, dude. And then he goes on to say, since you guys mentioned it, in episode 300, I guess we must have said something about it. Then he goes, it was pretty cool hearing a lot of references to stuff from a while ago, like your Zazzle store. Just listen to the episode where you guys got the first Tomb Raider comics, so that was pretty weird. Yeah, dude, you're going deep. And then he writes
old.
It is. And then I'm almost a little ashamed. You can tell that we've grown as a podcast, I hope. I'm glad that you found us in our later life. But he goes on to say, but in terms of merch, it would be nice to have a PSTIA shirt or koozie. I'd buy them for sure if they were anything like your band t-shirt you showed. Thank you for saying that, man. It is something I'm still considering. And then he says, also deep cut here, I know Fred is a vegetarian, but did Jake ever settle up on the Locos Tacos he owes Fred for their bet on the fate of Lee in season 1 of The Walking Dead Telltale game? Have a good week. No, he hasn't. He hasn't fucking come clean on it.
I mean, obviously, apparently there are receipts, but I have no recollection of this thing that you mentioned.
My presumption is that I predicted Lee's fate, and you said, if this fucking happens, I will buy you a Doritos Locos Taco. I guarantee it. And then it happened, apparently. So, but no, I never got my taco prescript, and thanks for the reminder. I'll put it on the board back here with all of our songs on there when Jake comes over to practice. I'll leave it up there. He owes me a Doritos. Do they even make them anymore? I don't even know.
I think they make some variant of them or something.
Lucky for Jake, I'm on a diet right now.
That's pretty cool that he's going back and listening to the old episodes.
It's flattering.
Some of those early episodes are fucking rough. They're just like long and rambly, but not that this show isn't already long and rambly. We just ramble about, I don't know, fucking old people shit. But yeah, I just think that it's neat to see somebody even cares.
Yeah, like, it's fucking awesome. Thank you so much, man, for listening to this shit. It's awesome.
Because I'm curious, because there is, if you keep going,
I would advise you to stop while you can. Don't go backwards.
You're eventually going to get to a black hole where there's going to be like 2 years between episodes.
Yeah.
And then, when was it? Like, I guess maybe like shortly before COVID or something, we started really getting back into it again. It was like around episode 200 or 210 or something like that. It was like in that sort of zone.
Yeah, we did disappear for a while.
But yeah, it's
there's going to be a big gap, like years.
Cuz because I moved and then a bunch of other shit happened and it was really tough. So we were doing like one episode a month and then that was sporadic. And then we just like quit for fucking a year and a half. So, anywho,
I'll say this.
All that to say this, I'm just stoked that you're listening to these old episodes. And I know they probably don't exist anywhere, but a lot of those early episodes we live streamed and there was video of us
sitting in front of a flag we made.
Oh, actually, hold on 1 second.
Oh, geez. Jake's... Oh, shit. He probably has the flag. Oh, look at this. This is... Oh, my God. That's our old logo. Look at this shit. We made this. We made a stencil. That's awesome. If you're watching the YouTube channel, Prescription, you got to check this out. This is our old logo. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so cool you still have that.
I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah, I could see
that very well in the
awesome
video, but I was gonna start one of the shows like with it just behind me and just to like as
throwback,
because I found it in the closet whenever I was doing some spring cleaning this year, and I didn't have a good way to hang it without like making stands or something, so it's been just chilling behind me, but yeah, it's funny because you made that. It's like a white bed sheet.
We made it together.
That looks like. Did we make it together?
In your garage, dude. Yeah, we made this.
This was so long ago.
It was your sheet.
This was probably 10 years ago.
It was your sheet.
Yeah, very well could have been. It looks like a white sheet that somebody fucking pissed the bed on because we spray painted it yellow. And then we stenciled on.
Actually, I just pissed all over it.
The PS This Is Awesome logo. And I don't know, man. I think it would be cool. It'd be cool to have like a t-shirt. I don't really know what we would do for it, but or a koozie with just the fucking, the logo and whatever.
Speaking of which, here, if you can watch this Prescription, check this out. This is a PS This Is Awesome mug we used to have. This is our old logo also. It says, like pizza, PSN, and party tricks, PS This Is Awesome. That's back when we were like before we took our hiatus. So,
yeah, I remember one year I got everyone in my family shit from our Zazzle store for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the year after we started it. And my mom, I don't know if you remember this. My mom used to call me while we were recording the podcast. And she used to always ask me, Jake, are you podding? That was like how she asked me if we were actively recording the podcast when she called. Because she'd always, never failed, she would call me while we were recording. And so I got her one of those mugs that you just held up.
Yeah.
But you could put, with Zazzle, you could put custom stencils on, like the messages on the other side. And I just put one on there that said like, yes, mom, we're podding or something like that. And I think I got my brother like a PSTIA t-shirt. And I don't know, man. It was a cool thing that we did back in the day. Like we said before, though, like Zazzle wasn't the greatest site, but it was kind of neat that like people could just go on there and get whatever the fuck they wanted.
It's like print on demand, really.
Yeah.
Is what Zazzle was doing. I'm sure there's better companies now than that. I mean, I just looked it up. 11 best print on demand companies and sites 2024. This isn't an advertisement, but they have number one being Printful. Printful. I don't see Zazzle on there. So yeah, I don't know what Printful is, but I'm sure they take an arm and a leg of the thing. But I mean, if we had like a really big audience, to the listeners, I could suffer some overhead knowing that I was going to make money back. I have contacts. I have really good contacts with screen printing places. One in Pittsburgh that I use all the time for my music stuff. We could come up with a really cool logo and get some t-shirts made, but it's only going to serve us if we can sell 25 to 30 of them at $20 a piece, or else we're going to lose money.
Yeah.
So we're not going to sell that many, so it's hard to justify the overhead. If we can build up our listener base, I would love having PS This Is Awesome merch, dude. I would love doing it. It'd be a great way to raise some money for the show. It'd be, but I'm not going to lose any more money doing this show than we already have. So we're just trying to build our Patreon. I actually considered making the Patreon, making like a $5 tier, but we don't do enough content. Like we can't compete with the other PlayStation podcasts, the other video game podcasts out there that have like a $5 tier. We're doing an episode a week, if that. We're trying to meet that, but like we don't do bonus episodes. We don't do, dude, we're in a fucking band. You know what I mean? Like we work full-time jobs. We have lives outside of this. And it's just like, dude, it's so hard to offer content like that. I probably have like 7 irons and 7 different fires at any given point. So if we just naturally build up a fucking fan base, yeah, we'll do more shit. Koozies, on the other hand, are cheaper to make. So I could actually see us doing like 20 fucking koozies and just having them and then giving them out as gift to family members when they don't sell, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for your input, Prescription. And yeah, don't go back too far, really. But if you find the episode where we come back from our hibernation, let us know what episode that is. Every episode we talk about news. This episode is no different. We are about an hour into the show at this point. So I'm just going to say that the first news point, Sony indicated that they have now shipped 59.3 million PS5 consoles. But with that being said, there are 118 million monthly active PlayStation Network users, which means half of them, more than half of them, are not playing on PS5.
That kind of tracks, I think. There's still a lot of PS4s out there, man.
I'm not
I think
fucking
you could
using
still
a PS4
buy one
for shit. Yeah.
No, but if you don't have a lot of money, or you're I don't know, or if you just like don't really care about the arms race, it's like fuck it. Or if you don't care about 60 frames, there's still like 1,000,001 amazing games you could play on PS4. Like only really if you want the new hotness, that's the only real reason you would even need a PS5. Don't get me wrong, I love my PS5 and I'm really glad I have it. I wouldn't go back, just like you say. But at the same time, it's like I can understand why there's still a lot of them out there. Plus, there's also probably a lot of them in the world in areas and countries that aren't America. So, and probably in those other countries, they don't upgrade as quickly because of, I don't know, higher costs or whatever. So.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of consoles.
It's a lot, dude. It's a lot. I can't even fathom the amount of money that companies like this probably fucking just bring. Imagine just one day, like gross revenue in a day. All the Sony IPs, all their fucking controllers that they're hawking every day, all their fucking VR headsets and their fucking handhelds and their fucking, God, just the PlayStation division in one fucking day, what they gross. Like I can't even everyone in that day that had to renew their fucking PlayStation Network subscription or whatever, all the online sales, like I can't even, the I can't, one fucking day. Can you imagine what they make in a fucking year for real? Like, dude, I get excited if I sell one t-shirt at a concert. I'm like, fuck, dude, that's awesome. But like, dude, like they're just printing fucking money. Like, can you imagine being that fucking rich, wealthy?
Making billions.
It's so hard to fathom. So hard to fathom. All right, moving on to the next point. People are getting kind of excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. I know I am one of them, dude. Especially with that Tom Petty song that played in the trailer. Gotta let it baby. What the fuck is the lyric? I don't know what it is.
Love is a long road.
Yeah. It's a long road. God, I can't even fucking do a Tom Petty. Fucking 2 days in a row playing gigs. I played in a smoke-filled VFW on Thursday for 2 hours. Anyways. Grand Theft Auto 6, Rockstar's come out, and they've given this a release window of the fall of 2025. We are very fucking close to this. We are about just a scotch over a year away from Grand Theft Auto 6, which is so exciting because people are like, dude, 2026, 2027. I'm like, dude, it's going to be a minute. Dude, they're fucking well on their way here.
Yeah, that tracks. I mean, this game is going to be the biggest game probably ever made. So that's
Wait, hold on.
pretty exciting. I mean, I think they just announced that Grand Theft Auto 5 just surpassed 200 million units sold, which is ridiculous. I don't know if that makes it the highest, if it's surpassed in Minecraft and now it's the highest selling game of all time, but it's ridiculous. I don't know, man. I mean, can you imagine how much money you would have if you sold 200 million of anything?
No.
It's so much. How many people are buying just like multiple copies to get this many fucking copies sold? I mean, don't get me wrong, I bought a copy of it, but I bought one copy. It's not like I kept buying it. But people buy it on PS3, then they bought it on PS4, then they bought it on PS5, and then there's probably some fucking definitive online shit that they bought.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that like there's people that have spent thousands of dollars on GTA 6 between microtransactions and buying the game fucking 30 times. So good for them. But there's a reason why Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to end up having the highest budget of any video game ever. It's probably going to come in over $1 billion, which is fucking crazy. But they'll probably make that back in literally one day.
Right.
So, who gives a shit, I guess. Big money in, big money out. I don't know. Good for them. Yeah. I'm excited to play it. I think it's going to be great. But,
dude, you haven't finished a Grand Theft Auto game in forever.
I never finished Grand Theft Auto 5 because the main quest bugged on me and I couldn't move forward.
It's really a shame because it's great. It's a lot of vodka, Jake. Just kidding.
I know.
All right, so moving forward, there's a boxing game called Undisputed. And the developer is promising the largest roster of licensed boxers ever in a boxing game. It will feature Mike Tyson. No, I'm sorry. It'll feature Tyson. What's the guy's name? Tyson Fury. Jesus, fuck. I fucked that up. So it's developed by a company called Steel City Interactive, which is interesting because I don't know where they're based out of. One would presume Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh is Steel City, but I don't know where they're from. But it's apparently supposed to be... What if they are, and we can fucking get in cahoots with them? Find out where this company's based out of.
Who is it?
Steel City Interactive. I'm looking it up right now.
They're a fucking co.uk website, so
fuck.
They're probably from the UK.
They're imposters. All right. But the game looks cool, and there used to be a game, I believe, called Fight Night. Is that what it was? The boxing game I liked?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It was a lot of fun because the graphics were amazing for back then. And I've always been a big fan of boxing games.
Yeah.
It's weird. Because you don't have a lot to worry about. You know, this, back, this. That's it. It's all you got to do and manage stamina. And you got to be quick. You got to be smart. And a little bit of going towards, backing off, circling your opponent, getting them against the ropes. There's a lot of shit, but it's simple. Boxing games are the epitome of easy to learn, difficult to master. If you're a fan of that kind of a game, the boxing game is it. Like, think back to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. They've only gotten better. But I hope this game delivers, dude. I'm not a boxing fan at all. I don't give a fuck about boxing. But boxing games? Better than UFC games. Better than WWE games. For sure. Because those games are so confusing. They're not as good as fighting games. But they are pretty good. If you're going for like a fighting sport game, It's got to be boxing.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about boxing games. Like, I think that you could make a good boxing game. I mean, there's like people like the UFC games. People like the WWE
They do
games,
like
although
them.
those are a little bit more a little bit more arcadey. But it is kind of interesting that there isn't more hubbub about, like, has there been a boxing game in a while?
No.
There used to be.
It's all
boxing
UFC shit
games
now.
all
No
the
one gives a
time.
shit about boxing.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I think boxing is way more interesting than the UFC. But that's just me personally, because the UFC always just degrades into two people just hugging on the ground. And that's what it always degrades to. Whereas like boxing, it's like you're not allowed to clutch at all. It's all about you anticipating your opponent's moves and making proper body contact.
Right.
And you could even argue that, like, if you want to get crazy, like, kickboxing is pretty fucking cool too. I mean, it's like violent as fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I've watched a couple of boxing matches, and the one thing that's interesting about boxing is, and I don't know, like, I'm sure they portray this in the games as well, but like, imagine we talk about, like, Mike Tyson is in the news right now because he's getting ready to fight that fucking Logan Paul or Jake Paul or one of the Paul brothers. I don't know.
He's like a YouTube star or something.
Yeah, and
Tyson's
think about his
gonna
career.
Fucking destroy that guy.
You say that, but he's also like 30 years younger than Mike Tyson. So it's and that guy, even though he's a YouTube star, he is an accomplished fighter.
Yeah, he is a good fighter.
So it's not like he knows nothing, but it would be fucking cool if Mike Tyson came in just like the old days and fucking knocked him out in the first round. Like, that would be so wild.
Flatline.
Because, like, if you
I don't want him to kill him. I don't want him to kill him. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. But what I was getting at was, like, in the old days, Mike Tyson, he had a lot of fights that ended quick. So you have these, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, these boxing matches where everyone gathers in Las Vegas, and it's this whole hubbub and all this shit. The fighters come out, and there's all this, like, spectacle.
This isn't UFC where they're tapping
literally a minute later, the fucking guy is on the mat, match is over, everybody goes home.
Stars over his head. Like, yeah. Just fucking eyes
it's crazy
crossed.
To me. Boxing is so crazy to me, but I could see how it could make a good, a cool, like, almost strategic kind of video game.
Dude, if you've never seen Mike Tyson in his glory box, get on YouTube, look up Mike Tyson's best knockouts. You'll watch this guy. He's fucking unhinged, man. Like, and here's the thing about this fight, and then I'll just say it, and then we'll move on to the next point. Mike Tyson only ever boxed the greatest. Only some of the best boxers would go up against him. And some of the best boxers were too scared to go up against him. So the fact that this Logan guy is a good fighter is fine, but I guarantee he doesn't have a single thing that Mike hasn't already gone up against in his youth. So, like, is he a little slower? Probably. Is he, does he not have the same fucking stamina? Probably not. But I guarantee he still fucking hits very hard. There's no doubt in my mind. And all he has to do is fucking tag this dude. And it's just going to be over. Dude, you don't take a punch from Mike Tyson and just, like, stay on your feet. That's just like, it's the fucking rule. It's the law. It's in science books. It's like, you don't take a fucking punch from Tyson and stay planted. It doesn't happen. So, like, I don't know, dude. And I know he fought whoever, but that was kind of like a scrimmage or whatever. It wasn't like recently he kind of came out and did that one off against that dude. But I think I don't know. I think everyone wants to see Mike Tyson just fucking knock one more dude out. I think we just want to fucking see it because it's so fucking rad. I don't know. I'm rooting for Mike.
I think a lot of people are, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not interested enough to fucking pay the paper.
It's gonna be on YouTube the second it happens.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, but yeah, it'll be cool to see. And that's, deviating from video games and
undisputed boxing game coming out.
Yep,
PS5.
cool.
Moving on. This is kind of heartbreaking news. Maybe I didn't think this game looked particularly good. I had some reservations about it, but I love the franchise. Ubisoft has come out and they've canceled the free-to-play Division Heartland. We saw
it's unfortunate.
A bit of this.
It's unfortunate because I was excited to just try it out. I mean, I didn't expect it to be amazing or anything, but it's weird that they would, like, it's been in development for so long. You would think that, like, it would almost behoove them to just fucking put it out and see what happens. Get whatever they can back out of it.
I think they can
always shut the servers down.
I think they're just expected to support it. And Skull and Bones, just got put on PS5, doing really well, and it's just like we really want to.
Or no, you're talking about
whatever the game is,
not Skull and Bones. You're talking about
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, yeah,
they're all
which is not a Ubisoft game, but
right.
It could be, it could be what you're saying is that they just don't want to support it, and they can actually write it off if they don't put it out. So I guess that's probably part of what they're doing, is just to like save money because everyone's freaking trimming fat right now.
Right.
But it's a bummer. I mean, I would have liked to have at least tried it, but I guess we'll never see it unless it somehow gets brought back up.
As far as I know, the Division 3 is still happening.
Well, that's good. I mean, the Division's a great series.
It's fucking great.
I played a bit of 2, and I played a little bit of 1. But 2 I played for 20 hours or so because I don't know if you remember this. It was on sale for like one day. It was on sale for $2. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I do.
And so I bought it, and I was like, oh, it was like right before maybe one of the big expansions came out or something, and I really liked it. I mean, it's a cool. I will say that the HUD in the Division is absolutely fucking horrible.
Yeah, you got
to
spend time with it, tweak it.
But just that like digital sort of floaty in your face. I don't know, man. It's bad. But I do think that the game otherwise is great. So
yeah,
Division 3, excited about that. Division Heartland. Too bad, so sad, I suppose.
R.I.P. All right. Next news point. Activision. A name you hear a lot, but maybe not a lot at the same time. They have a new studio opening called Elsewhere Entertainment. And these news stories are coming from pushsquare.com. Apparently, Elsewhere Entertainment is working on a AAA narrative-based and genre-defining franchise. Weird.
It is kind of interesting, especially since they just laid off like 1,900 people.
Well,
and now they're opening a new studio. That's really
maybe they laid them off to bring them back.
I don't really have
Elsewhere.
opinions about it one way or the other, but looks like it's opening in Poland. So I guess maybe that's kind of interesting. They're trying to tap into the Polish game scene, which is cool. There's a lot of good studios there. I mean, talk about CD Projekt and freaking Kingdom Come people. Who are they? Warhorse and a bunch of other places. So interesting. I don't really have too much to say about it. I mean, I guess it would be cool to see a new IP out of Activision, but
yeah, it really would.
We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. This could be one of those things that just never fucking happens. It seems like we've been seeing that more and more recently.
On to the big news. This is the news that we should have talked about last week had we had an episode. We now have new CEOs for PlayStation. Hermen Hulst is going to lead the studios business, PlayStation Studios. And I can't pronounce the name, Jake, help me. Hideaki Nishino.
Sorry, I was just looking him up. Yeah, Hideaki Nishino is what it looks like it's pronounced.
will be taking charge of the platform side. So I don't think that this is a bad decision. This is like in The Office where Jim and Michael Scott both become the boss. It's like, all right, we'll get rid of what's his face, and then we're gonna have two bosses now.
I think that I mean they're leading different parts of it, right? So Nishino is leading the console. It seems like, I guess, the console side. With
That's the way I
maybe
understand
the
it. Yeah.
PSN, right? And then Hermen Hulst will just basically continue what he's doing, leading all of the studios, but he'll just get paid more money and probably also bring in Bungie, because they're out right now. He's ahead of PlayStation Studios, and Bungie is outside of that, so now he'll just like have them as well, I suppose. But yeah, this is cool. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this plays out. Holst is a likable enough figure. You know, he could be on stage and lead some of these PlayStation Directs and stuff like that, or state of plays and all that kind of stuff. I don't know this Nishino fella, so
I'm on the blog.
I'll be interested to see.
I'm on the PlayStation blog. I looked up Hideaki Nishino, and it says posts by Hideaki Nishino. They are the posts that he's put on the blog himself. These are older, back to all the way back to July of 2023. About a beta rolling out with new accessibility and audio options. The first remote play dedicated device. He put a thing on the blog about that. He put a thing on the blog about rollouts to the PS5. Cloud streaming. The development journey of the Access controller. And a first look at its packaging. And then the PS5 system update adds DualSense controller sound enhancements. So a lot of his posts are very PS5 console specific shit. So, and he's listed at that time as being the vice president of the platform experience.
Yeah, I mean that kind of tracks if he's going to be a platform head, that he would talk about the console.
Yeah, and the accessories. And Hulst has some experience. I don't know, PlayStation Studios, that encompasses more than just the TV making part, I would imagine.
Sorry, what I meant was the game studios.
Gotcha.
He leads the game studios. But I would imagine that he is going to lead probably maybe even the TV stuff, and obviously with Bungie and all that other kind of crap as well. What I want to see is like the next state of play or showcase or whatever. I want it to be like a black stage, and then like a door opens up and just the two of them holding hands walk out on stage.
Yeah. Well, what's cool about Hulst, a lot of people
talk about it.
Yeah. A lot of people may know, but if you don't know, he was actually the co-founder of Guerrilla.
Yeah.
So who made
Killzone.
Resistance?
That was Insomniac.
Damn it.
Guerrilla made Killzone.
That's right. God damn it. Which means we'll probably get a Killzone game before we get a fucking Resistance game with Hulst at the head.
I mean, that makes sense just from a marketing kind of perspective.
But a dude who actually founded a game developer being head of, Sony Studios is actually kind of cool, because he has some fucking working knowledge. It's not just some dude who kissed ass. This is a dude who's been in the trenches, right? So this is good.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there is something to be said about having somebody with business acumen, but he, as a co-founder of a studio, he would have to have some kind of business acumen to lead that studio. So,
and an understanding of what people want.
This isn't just somebody who is like a random developer. I mean, he was selected for a reason. So, yeah, I think that it's kind of an obvious choice, if I'm being honest.
Wow. All right.
But just because he's been kind of showing up, the fact that he kind of was selected to replace Shuhei Yoshida, and then after that he's been kind of all over these games conferences and stuff, and he's been in the press a lot, like sort of as sort of like the game side of Jim Ryan's business speak. So it sort of makes sense that he would sort of take over. And I do like that they are also having a Japanese CEO as well to be in there as like I mean, even though he is on the console side, the console is developed in Japan. So that makes a lot of sense. And I think that it's kind of cool that they're sort of bridging the gap between the two cultures, because I think it's probably safe to say that some Japanese gamers probably feel like they're being left in the dust with everything being so westernized nowadays. So yeah, I think this is a good sort of thing, and we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Well put. Well put. All right. Next up, Deviation Studios. We know they have been disbanded. They didn't even get a game out before they got put to sleep. A lot of the staff from Deviation now have started yet another new studio at Sony and are working on an unknown intellectual property. So they got let go. Deviation breaks up. These people lose their jobs. Sony says, hey, let's do another studio. I don't fucking understand.
I mean, I think there was some speculation about this because Deviation, Sony was in bed with them. They had some ex-Call of Duty devs and blah, 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 and they were looking for like a new first-person shooter kind of experience. And then like Sony just put the kibosh on that whole project.
Really
and,
weird.
What's his name? Oh gosh, Jason Blundell. Yeah, left Deviation and to join Sony, and then you could see that like kind of through the tea leaves that there's probably an exodus of like Blundell probably like grabbed the people that he wanted and brought them over to Sony and was like, hey, let's fucking make what we want to make here. And I don't want to say they cut out Deviation games, but it sounds like Deviation was not the partner that Sony wanted, and so they just kind of put the kibosh on the relationship, and they're just starting with the people that they want in their own studio, which is kind of cool. Sony hasn't opened a studio in quite a while, and to have one with this pedigree that could possibly be making a first-person shooter for the platform would be pretty freaking neat, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I think it's weird. It's just business if that's what happened. You know what I mean? But it's odd to me. It seems like some sleight of hand or something. Like we're going to lay off some people, but we're just going to keep the people that we actually really want. And then we're going to push forward and start a new studio with all these A-listers. It seems dirty, but I mean, I guess that's how the business is.
Well, and we don't know either that it was like Sony being deceitful and being like, hey, let's just make our own studio and cut out everybody else. It could be that the relationship just fell apart and some of the people there were just like, well, we'll just fucking go with you. And, it could be a little bit more. I'm sure the people at Deviation are not stoked about this. but I think Jason Blundell was one of the fucking founders of that studio. So, there had to have been something going on. I have no idea. It's a really bizarre thing, to be honest. But hopefully it's good for us gamers, and the business side is, I guess, not really our responsibility.
You're not wrong. All right. Next news point is Capcom. Here's a studio we don't talk about a lot. Now, Jake, we've loved the Resident Evil remakes. But this was an interesting story on Push Square. Apparently, they have hit record high profits year after year after year for the 7th time now. So for the last 7 years, they have hit record profit.
It says your news point says 11.
11 consecutive years of having income growth, but the last 7 has been record highs.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Year after year, just hand over fist fucking money. Just Capcom, way to go. Shout out on our show, man. You should feel good about yourself now.
Keep making those Resident Evil games that fucking slap, because every Resident Evil game I've played since 7 has been fucking amazing.
Good.
So I'm excited for whatever comes next. I have to imagine that they're going to be ready to announce Resident Evil 9 here shortly.
You're probably right, but I also read in a rumor that they're going back to 1 and doing a proper remake of 1.
That'd be good. I could fuck with that. I liked the first game a lot.
I just want to get chased by the dogs.
Oh my god, the freaking birds. But yeah, I did like that game a lot, and I would like to see what it looks like with a new coat of paint and not that like GameCube sort of polish that was on it.
Yeah.
But and I played it not that long ago. I played it 2 or 3 years ago, and I still really enjoyed it. So
yeah,
we'll have to see what's next for Capcom.
Well, the last news point for today's long-winded show is new games hitting PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium. And this is a nice, very nice rollout, might I say. Red Dead Redemption 2, Deceive Incorporated, The Sims 4, Crime Boss Rocky City, which I wanted to try just to fucking try it.
Yeah.
The Settlers, Stranded Alien Dawn, Cat Quest 2, the Lego Movie 2 video game, and Watch Dogs on PS4. Watch Dogs on PS4 was a good fucking game, and I thought the second one did all right as well. I think the third one got a little goofy. The first one was good.
I love Red Dead Redemption 2 is like an all-time that's like a world beater kind of game. Like you can't really beat Red Dead Redemption 2.
All those random encounters.
It's like on the same tier as like The Last of Us in terms of like video game quality. But of this list, the one that I am the most interesting is like you, Crime Boss Rocky City. I just want to know what the fuck this game is.
It did terrible reviews.
Yeah, but it like has all these famous people in it. Like I don't know what is going on with this game.
Is Mickey Rourke in it? No, who's in it? What's that? He's in Kill Bill. The fuck is that guy? Mads Mikkelsen.
Dude, the freaking cover has Danny Trejo on it. Yeah. Fucking Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Looks like Danny Glover. Freaking Vanilla Ice. Like I just want to play this game to know what the fuck I'm looking at.
I think it's like a bank heist game or something, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's co-op though, so it's a nice little list. I mean, I'm not like blown away by it or anything, but it's a nice offering. Every episode we talk about new games, if we can find them, coming to the PSN, and we found some for you for this week, and I'm going to jump right on that real quick. So, May 21st, Paper Trail, System Shock, and XDefiant finally. May 22nd, Cards RPG, The Misty Battlefield, Doug's Nightmare. And May 23rd, Crown Wars, The Black Prince, Eternal Threads, Galacticare, Hauntee, Rocket Rumble, The Quintessential Quintuplets, 5 Memories Spent with You. Until Then, Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. And then Is Memoir, The Oath in Felghana. And then May 24th, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Whoop. There you go. That's the offering. Whoo! What a show, Jake. We are an hour, 36 minutes in. How are you feeling?
Yeah, man. Feeling like I need to go check on my pool. But other than that, I'm ready to, I don't know, lay down.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so tired right now. I've been trying to paint this miniature for Curse City for a while. I will say this, White Dwarf 500 came out. The magazine. Issue 500 was released. And I picked it up, and they had a card that you punch out for the Curse City, which is why I got it. Because White Dwarf is the name of the Warhammer magazine, the Games Workshop. Man, I could care less about a lot of shit in there, but it's kind of cool just to have lying around when I'm like fucking walking by my table and I want to look at something for 10 minutes. But they release expansions to some of their games on this stuff in the magazines, and the local comic or a local game store that we have here, Purple Fox Games, give them a shout out. They're great over there. They have a lot of really cool board game shit there. It's amazing that a store like that can exist and succeed in today's climate, but they're doing great shit, and they offer a safe space for people, and it's a no swearing zone, and like you can go there and play games and join in different skirmishes and stuff and sign up for competitions, painting competitions and shit. But it's really cool, like subculture. But they had like 5 or 6 of these White Dwarf 500s, and apparently White Dwarf 500 is kind of tough to get your hands on if you didn't have it pre-ordered. Lucky for me, Meadville's not like a big Warhammer city or anything, so they were sitting on the shelf. I went in there, I picked one up, and I punched it out. So the White Dwarf is a character named Grombrindal or something like that, some weird name, and his likeness is synonymous with the White Dwarf magazine. So they created a stacked OP character card for this White Dwarf to be used in this game Curse City they like to play, to solo it if you want, and you can be the White Dwarf. And his stats are just fucking buffed. It's still like supposed to be kind of tough, but like he can do it. So it's kind of cool. And then alongside with issue 500, they released a mini for the White Dwarf. And it wasn't cheap, but I bought it. And it's coming in the mail because I think I got it from Games Workshop. I think you had to pre-order it on their website. Which means it wasn't going to go out, but like there was only a window of time to order them. So I'm kind of excited to get this dude for my Curse City game. I could have just 3D printed one. People know I 3D print, but like there's something cool about having the actual White Dwarf miniature in his card. To me, at least, something kind of neat about it. So hook, line, and sinker, they got me. But it's fucking dope. So one of these days, I'll solo some quests in Curse City when I'm super lonely and bored with my life in a rocking chair. But yeah, so there's that. Anyways, I thought that was cool. So issue 500, I don't know, dude, very neat. nothing else going on. I got a new tattoo on my leg, Jake. You haven't seen it, but it's fucking sore as shit still. So, word of the wise, don't get tattoos on your shins. It hurts. So, and then, like, unless you elevate it, it's just going to get red and swollen because your blood is just naturally, gravity's pulling it all down there anyway. So, it's just going to swarm the area. Heal faster, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Jake's an anti-tattoo dude, but I don't know. I like to support my friends that do that. My buddy Braden, I think he's at Karma Tattoo. I think it's called Karma. I don't know. I think it's called Karma in Erie. And then Rachel is married to my buddy Josh Travis, and she tattoos at a shop in Erie called Steadfast. But if I can give him some business, I will once in a while.
I'm not anti-tattoo. I mean, to be clear, my wife has one, but it's like, there's nothing there. I may end up with a tattoo someday, but in this current frame of mind, there is nothing
Space Marines tattoo
on this planet that I could consider indelibly inking myself with. Like, it's just, there's nothing in this world I love enough that I would put permanently etched onto my skin.
Yeah.
And I get that, like, now you can get them fucking removed and all this kind of crap, but it's, I don't know. It's not, it really doesn't matter.
I think it's just, dude, there's no, I'm not judging. I mean, like, here's the line is like, the way I look at it, I'll be 43 this month. And everyone that I've ran into that haven't, like, either seen me in a while or people that come out to see our bands play, dude, it's kind of part of the whole punk rock culture. I don't feel like I need to get tattoos to fit in, but like when I went to Braden to get this skull thing on my arm, Braden never comes out and sees us play, but he knows that I play a lot, and he goes, dude, I thought you'd be covered. He's like, how many tattoos do you have? I said, dude, this will be my third. And he's like, you only have, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't get a lot of tattoos. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. I appreciate you picking me to do another one, man. He goes, everyone's going to see it, and that's cool shit for me. I'm like, yeah, for sure, you know? So
nobody will ever see it because you don't wear shorts at shows.
Well, Rachel did this one on my leg. Braden did this one on the back of my arm here. But it's still on the wrong side of the arm. Like, it's my left arm, so no one's ever going to fucking really see it. But I'm like 43 now, and I'm just like, my dad's side of the family all died, with the exception to my dad. Like, his dad and his dad's dad all died in their mid to early 50s from heart attacks. My dad has 2 stents in his heart, 1 in his leg. We have cardiovascular disease, and it's hereditary. And it's like, fuck, I'm on my shit. I'm taking medicines. I may only have, if I'm lucky, 10 more years. Because his dad died at 53. And I'm like, well, fuck, man, I might as well see what this is all about, this tattoo nonsense. Because I've always been interested in the art and in the history of it. And I never really got them. And a lot of my buddies have them. And I'm always like, when I see pictures of them playing, like in their fucking bands and shit, if I'm being completely honest, it's like they could be making the dumbest fucking faces, but if they have tattoos, it's like, oh, well, that dude's, he's got so much skin in the game. Like, that dude's fucking invested. He's living the lifestyle, right? Like, this is like, so I think I've tried everything but getting tattoos to try to, like, get more attention for my musical projects. And I'm like, maybe people just fucking take me more serious a little bit. Maybe. It's possible. That's not why I'm getting tattoos, but it's not going to fucking hurt, right? And I've always kind of wanted them anyways. Why? The reason I didn't was because I wanted a fucking career. You know what I mean? And like, you can't, you know, you want people to fucking respect you on a professional level. And I think the stigmas of tattoos are not what they once were. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you see a lot of professional people with tattoos, but I mean, like, as long as I can cover them up with long sleeves, I've got a career job now and I've got opportunities for promotion and stuff. So I'm not really worried about ruining my chances of getting that quote unquote good fucking job because I have one. So now it's like, what are they going to do? Fucking fire me? No, they need me. So anyways, it's kind of where I'm at in my life. But yeah, There's some really gnarly tattoos. There's also some really, really bad ones out there. And I'm just like, fuck. I realized that the thing I got on my leg kind of looks like the Space Marines. That's why I said the Space. What is the Space Marines logo, real quick? Marines logo. Dude, it fucking is a Death's Head, dude. It looks just... Jake, fucking... I don't know if you can see this. Here. I just put it together. I did. It's not a Space Marines tattoo, but it fucking looks like it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It looks like the fucking Space Marines tattoo. That's awesome. What it is, it's a little quick side note. When we toured and we went and we played the New England states, Signal Home in 2006, 2005, we spent some time in Salem, Massachusetts, which is where they did all the fucking witch shit, you know. The hangings happen there. It's supposed to be really haunted, all the stuff. But they have a really, really old cemetery there called the Burying Grounds. And I remember taking a picture of one of the gravestones from the 1700s. It's like fucking thin as like shale. And it's like on its side, like leaning, the ground's pushing it, the roots. It's like a national monument, or maybe like at least a state monument that it's right in the middle of the city. And like, it's fucking rad. There's really, really old gravestones. Most of the gravestones have that design I just showed you on the top of the headstone. And it dates back to the Puritans, who were like super, super fucking crazy religious people, that they actually didn't believe that there should be any religious iconography. That's a hard word for me to say.
Iconography.
It's hard to say. On the tombstones. So they had to find non-religious things to put on there. So these guys that made the tombstones back then would use a fucking chisel and hammer, dude. That's how they fucking did their art. So that's all these fucking... So like what they agreed on was acceptable was like a skull with like bird wings or weird wings on it. And they said like it was supposed to represent like, you know, the body, the soul leaving the body and flying away. But it couldn't be like, there couldn't be halos, there couldn't be crosses, there couldn't be... So sometimes you'll see this with like two bones making like an X above it. It looks like a fucking pirate logo, like a black flag fucking logo, dude. It looks... The design is awesome. And I took a picture of it because I was just so smitten with the gothic look of these headstones. And they're real gravestones. They're people, you're standing on their graves. I didn't know that that was the reason, but I guess over time, the Puritans lightened up a little bit, and then the skull became a cherub face. So then, like, if you move a little further, closer to, like, modern day, you'd see, like, a cherub face with, like, wings. But they weren't angel wings. And it turned into angel wings. And then it became a cherub with a fucking halo and became an angel. And then but it started off with a fucking skull and wings, which is awesome because it's actually the Space Marine logo, too. Very much like it, except the wings are out for the Space Marine thing. That's so fucking rad, dude. I didn't realize that it looked so much like that until just now. That's fucking cool as shit. Anyways, yeah.
All right.
I'll quit talking about it. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in to episode 328, I believe is what we're on. This has been a good time. We'll be back next week, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Get out there, enjoy the weather, do fun things, play some games, write us, join our Patreon. You know how to do it. The ball is in your court. Thanks for tuning in. Like Kane and Lynch, Kickbeat in Connecticut. P.S.
Yes.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.